big guy. Watch out for that big hole there. Fluffy tail. Big guy. Cat thinks it's a Rottweiler, video 7. Hey, Coochie. How you doing, big guy? Happy? Kayla, you silly girl. Kayla, where are you going, Kayla? You going to China? Hey? Good. All fun and games, hey? Coyote training 101. Rottweiler style. Here we are. Did I do a good job, Mom? Did I do a good job? I never ate the cat. Aww. And there's Kayla. Oh yeah, just thumping it. She has got them. She gives him a couple of chomps and then lets him go. She rips out the ground with her teeth. See that? Big chunks of it. She bites it to get to it. And this is mole hunter in training. So we only do it in this field around the fruit trees because they're my first line of defense. The blue buckets are my second line of defense, and the gravel is the third. So far it's working, and this is Irish Spring soap tied into a nylon stocking to keep the deer away. So far, also working. And then there's Brucey way down there, who hasn't got a clue about the coyotes yet. So we let the dogs dig for moles and we check the trees, make sure nobody's getting eaten. Probably only have to do this for a couple more years. That's looking good. I'm not seeing any. This is the O'Henry peach. I'm not seeing any deer presence. Oh look, we got blooms. Blooms. So that was my plan. We got to 20 acres. We're going to plant the fruit trees first because they take the longest. And some of them bore fruit the very first year. Last year, this tree had 6 berries on it that were edible. And this is the Lapin cherry. Those are nice. This will be the Bing. Bing! I always think of that when I say it. Also untouched by the deer. And there's our little Irish Spring soap. This one here is our Italian prune plum. And that one down there is the Red Haven peach. There's the Brucey cat way in the back. Here he comes. Da, 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 da. Cat thinks it's a Rottweiler. What to do? What to do? Brucey! Hey, buddy! Crazy. Alright. Brucey? Brucey. On we go. And I decided to do a video this time instead of just taking the pictures. Alright, this is the Anjou pear. Indeed. Coming along nicely. And this is all to do with juicing and having fruit and fiber and whole foods and no pesticides, just your natural solutions. And this is our Bartlett, which also is the only tree that's leaning downhill. I don't think the crows like that we bring our own security system with us for the cat. And this is... oh, this is the Bartlett. So, oh, that was the Flemish Beauty. I got them confused. And this is the Bartlett, also doing well. And then way down here is the crabapple. And it produced little crab apples all over it last year. And these trees were in the ground less than 6 months and were bearing fruit. Not all of them, but a select few here. Look at it all greened out now. So this one's supposed to get 40 feet tall and 30 feet wide. So I picked a good spot to put it in, so it had lots of room from the other trees and the fence line, and so we could have a travel path to more camping, access to more yard, more acreage. And over here, see the big frickin' tree? Well, that top fell off in a windstorm last year, top 15 feet, and that's it right there. And when it came down, it hit one of those trees and a piece broke off and slammed right into this tree. So it was a domino effect. And while I was planting this row of trees, I had to calculate for the future of this thing coming off in chunks. And because nobody wants to cut it down because it has homes for animals in it. You can see if you get close up, there's holes in there. And so the animals live in it. And the eagle family sit up there and gather their wits for hunting. Okay, so again, this tree got schmucked. It was upsetting. Yes, drop my stick. So this is called the railroad apple tree, and 50 years later its parent is still bearing fruit. So it was found next to a railroad, and that's why they called it the railroad apple tree. What an interesting story. So I got one. And this is where she got snapped off, and where it went sideways and continued. Oh, I'm so pleased. But look at the Irish Spring soap. Now to me, that looks like something bit it as a test. And there is a corresponding bite mark on the back side as well. So something tested it with a bite. And that looks a bit canine to me. And maybe it's because my scent is all over the nylon stocking. So, that was an interesting thing to note. And again, the coyotes are not afraid of us. They come right up to us. And this is our Summerland Red. Now pretty much the entire region here has just been overrun with these Summerland Red apple trees. So I got one as I have one, but I didn't want it to be the only apple that I had. And I did research where they came from. Go, Brucey! I researched where they came from so that I would know what kind of fruit I was getting and what properties they maintained for health and whatnot. If they were hybrids or if they were original apples. We're waiting for this to play out before we continue the apple tree tour. Cat thinks it's a Rottweiler. How come you're scared of him, Coochie? These two play together the most. She does play with Kayla as well. He plays with Kayla as well. Okay, there's a break in the action now. That crow just has not stopped the entire time we've been talking. Wonder if he reports back to the eagles. The cat's out! This is our trust apple tree. And for the life of me, I can't remember the story behind it or why I got the trust apple tree. The railroad came from Quebec, and this one came from another province, Manitoba maybe? So it could even be BC, but there was, I think it was because no matter what, it always fruited. Every one that was made fruited. So that's the story. You wanted an apple that was original, that was always going to produce. Or maybe it was a prolific producer. Either way, it earned its right to be here. And I did invite family members to claim a tree so that we could call them their tree. And this tree here, the last one, is the Granny Smith. And it is my husband's tree. And it's because he really likes Granny Smith apples. So I planted this tree for him. It had 6 fruit on it last year, as big as your fist. And it was only 6 months old when it began fruiting. Like 6 months in the ground when it began fruiting. And I got it from a nursery in Kelowna. And the deer ate 2 of the fruit before I figured out what to do. So then I ran around and netted everything. It cost me hundreds of dollars in netting. As soon as the last net was up, somebody told me to use the Irish Spring soap. Well, for crying out loud. How expensive is Irish Spring soap compared to hundreds of dollars in netting? And I'm just going to check this soap too. No, perfect condition. Nobody's bit it or bothered it. Very good. So, that's the story of the Irish Spring soap and the fruit trees. And of Brucey, the cat that thinks he's a Rottweiler. And we out.